Go ahead.
And the hands of the Most High have bent it.
So the Most High bent that bow. That's when they tell you the heavens Orion is like this. They know what exactly it is, but Satan has got it down here on earth. We're gonna hold that flag, and if you got one, you're gonna be trying to peel it off your bumper sticker. I hope they don't see it.
Y'all gonna have me stacking before.
Right.
Anyway.
So we can hold up, y'all. Let's just get to these other. Let's read the book of Jude right before Revelation. Because we're talking about, is it the sons of God or was it the sons of men? We just read in Jasher, in the book of Jasher, that Jasher called them the sons of men. When he talked to Ezekiel, he called them the son of men. When Christ went to Daniel, when he threw Meshach, what's the other boy?
Shadrach and
Abednego in them flames of fire. The king said, look, but below I see one like the Son of Man. See, because Christ was like those prophets and priests, like the sons of men. And I saw one, even in Daniel 7, they brought Christ to the Father. One like unto the Son of Man. Like the prophets. But he's coming up here. He's above those sons of men. He is the chief of sons of man. He's the chief of the angels. He's the chief of the prophets. On the Mount of Figuration, Matthew 17, when Christ transfigured in front of Peter and John, they say, should we make a tabernacle for each one of them? One for Moses, one for Elijah, one for you. The Father said, here, he'll be like, no, it's one tabernacle. Moses and Elijah is bowing down. That's why Moses couldn't go to the promised land, because the script says the children of Israel caused him to sin with his lips at the waters of Meribah, and he equaled himself with God. The Most High told him, you will be an intercessor, but you're not the intercessor. Don't you remember Deuteronomy 18 when I told you to write, another prophet is coming greater than yourself? So when did you decide you want to, these Negroes make you so mad you elevate yourself to me? Just for that you can't go into the promised land. So I sent Joshua to lead them into the kingdom. And when you look Joshua in the Greek, it's the same as Jesus. And in that Apocrypha, Yahweh. If you look in that second Esdras, chapter 13, it tells you that, and Joshua or Jesus, the son of Nun, did great works, but he's not the Jesus that's going to lead them into this promised land. That was under the order of Aaron.
That was a common name.
Christ is coming under the order of Melchizedek. This is an endless priesthood. That's why we all priests. Deuteronomy 7 says, we are priests. We got to understand that. Ain't no high priest.
Right.
Ain't no, Christ is our high priest.
Right.
Ain't no man we should be calling no high priest.
Right.
You a priest. Let's get some more. That's why the temple is within you. Where we at, Matthew?
Jude, right?
Jude. And this is talking about the angel. We get that 2 Corinthians 11.
The book of Jude. You starting at verse 5, 6, something like that?
Yeah, you start on down and talk about that.
The book of Jude, right before Revelation. One chapter.
Start at 5.
This is the book of Jude. I might just start at 1, y'all. Okay, that we, so we get the whole gist of it. Okay. The book of Jude, verse 1. Jude, the servant of Jesus Christ,
Right.
and brother of James, to them that are sanctified by God the Father, and preserved in Jesus Christ, and called, mercy unto you, and peace and love be multiplied. Beloved, when I gave all diligence to write unto you of the common salvation, it was needful for me to write unto you and exhort you that ye should earnestly contend for the faith which was once delivered unto the saints. For there are certain men crept in unawares,
Right.
who were before of old ordained to this condemnation.
Of old, this condemnation. When it talks about old, it's talking about the before the flood. Same way. Same exact thing gonna happen to this end of the world. Go ahead.
Ungodly men.
What kind of men?
Ungodly men.
Right.
Turning the grace of our God into lasciviousness.
Into what?
Into lasciviousness.
Lasciviousness is lust gone to another level. Lasciviousness is lust practice. R. Kelly was practicing lust and it turned to lasciviousness when he wanted to drink 40s and start peeing. And then he put it on film so he can practice what he doing, which turns into lasciviousness. What you filming that for? And it's an underage teenager. Nothing but for practice? What do you want to look at that for unless you're trying to get better at it? When you keep watching your victims and how they dead, you studying what I should do next time. I should have cut the jugular on that side. Then he'd have bled faster. When they break into these maniac homes, why you think they have all their victims up and the killing shots?
Man's heart is wicked.
They studying wickedness. That's what lasciviousness, lust, and gone too far. Way over the top. Go ahead.
Turning the grace of our God into lasciviousness.
Right?
And denying the only Lord God and our Lord Jesus Christ.
That's right.
I will therefore put you in remembrance, though ye once knew this, how that the Lord, having saved the people out of the land of Egypt, afterward destroyed them that believe not.
So the Most High say, I'll pull you out of all wickedness, and then if you won't get your mind right, I'm going to give you one last chance to get your mind right. And some of us still turn back to these old ways. Understand this, you can't put new wine in old bottles. Keep reading now. You got to.
And the angels.
And the who?
And the angels, which kept not their first estate.
What was their first estate? To watch the children of men, to protect them. The guardian angels. They left and did what?
But left their own habitation.
Habitation. What do habitations mean? Those different levels of somewhere, ain't it? Their habitation was up here. Go ahead.
He hath reserved an everlasting chains unto darkness, until the judgment of the great day.
Until the judgment of the great day. Those angels that caused those problems, those watchers fail and are put under the earth until the day of judgment, and then they go straight from there to the lake of fire. Straight from there. That's what it's, Ecclesiastes chapter 12 verse 12 tells us, don't it? Some wake up to everlasting life, and some wake up to everlasting what? So from the grave to the lake.
So was this why they was asking Enoch to pray for them?
That's why they was asking Enoch to pray for them. Enoch say, hey, you should be working for me, shouldn't you? They like, look, we done tripped. Bad. Go ahead, what you got to
This
say?
shows what you talking about why Satan was mad, because the men had to fall before the angels failed.
Absolutely.
Our sin allowed them to get in there.
That's right.
If we were doing our job, they would have to stay in their state.
Right. But Satan knew what to do. He went through the women just like he did with Adam.
With Eve.
But it said,
With Eve, I'm sorry. The same way. Go through the woman.
But yeah, but it says the men. It said the men. Sin was abounding in the earth already before they did that.
Right, absolutely.
So we had created that environment where we could come down there and do that.
That in the same environment we create
Just-
today, y'all.
just like
a
in the
wicked
garden.
environment.
Adam wasn't doing his job, and somebody sitting there did their job.
That's right. That's right. Where we at?
Verse 7. Even as Sodom and Gomorrah.
Even as what?
Sodom and Gomorrah.
And we know what that is. That's where the word sodomy come from. We have to understand that. That was a righteous land, but the acts that took place in there, because Lot went there first before it fell apart. Then it was so wicked, you read in the book of Asher, they used to have beds on street corners. I'm talking about activity taking place like you just drive down Kings Highway in Delmar, and you see activity, you be like, what? Chee, boom, boom, boom. That's the way it was. And then they had what's called wife swap going on there too. Men would come with their wives and daughters for 2 weeks. This was the first freak meet. Way back then. Drop their wives and daughters off. He go this way, they go that way. Then they meet back up in 2 weeks and don't say nothing. Now we got shows out on TV called Wife Swap.
I gotta tell a story, man.
Go ahead, bro.
I told my father, I said, yeah, for my birthday, I went to Oktoberfest down in Herman McGrew with a friend of mine. He started looking at me funny, like, what were you doing down there?
We got about 15 minutes, y'all. Go ahead, keep
Went
on.
to the wineries and went to taste different wines. He was like, well, you know, when I was stationed in Germany in the Army, Oktoberfest, the women and men would separate the households, and everybody would go have sex with who they wanted to during Oktoberfest. He started repeating me the same thing that happened in there. They doing the same thing today.
Ain't nothing new under the sun, y'all. Technology is the only thing that changed. They can just bring everything you used to have to walk through. They can bring it right into your home. You ain't got to go to the library. The library is a touch away.
Oktoberfest the same thing you said?
But this makes it more wicked. Because it's only a touch away, and you can do it in private, what can't nobody see. That's right.
Hey, Dan.
What you got, bro?
And whatever y'all do not let y'all children watch movies in 3D. Do not put them glasses on. Nothing in 3D.
Somebody said why? Work it off, bro.
Well, for one thing, about 3 years ago, up in North Africa, they laid the last fiber optic lines. Now, what happens is that the demons, they travel through those fiber optics. And when you have that 3D on, they come right at you. We're looking at it through another dimension. That's what 3D is.
What they do is opening up the third eye
Exactly.
technology.
Right.
3 dimensions.
Instead of dope and drugs, because they're getting everybody off of dope and drugs. That's why they suing all the pharmaceutical companies now, so they can usher in their new technology to open up your supernatural. 3D movie. What's that movie that just come out and people throwing up in there? Was it that last vampire movie?
Twilight.
The latest one, they say there's a scene with a strobe light and the baby being born, which is of supernatural and flesh, of the fleshly girl and the vampire, which is an offspring of the angel, so to speak. And when they mix and when this baby is born, the strobe light is flashing and it's red and blood is spilling everywhere. And then they say people just start throwing up in the theater. The same way they did with the Pokemon.
Yeah, with those
Through the
Chinese
strobe
babies,
light.
right?
That's why the strobe lights is in the club and it's beating. You just don't know what's happening. Then put some ecstasy on top of that.
Right.
Boy, you be watching anything. They know what they doing, y'all. This ain't nothing new for them.
Right. So just stay away from that, though, y'all. Nothing in 3D with those glasses.
But see, what he got to say, they trying to make TVs now that you don't need the glasses.
Right.
So you'll be watching
Oh,
it
they
just
got it.
without.
Well, what they're doing is preparing you to see something that's going to be out of the natural. Even in the carnal, it's going to be up beyond. They got to get you ready for it first. So the way you ease you into it is with 3D. We'll ease you into it. And then when you see it in real life, when you see a man streak by down Coke Brilliant and half this part is of a beast and this other half is up, and you look, or then people just walking them through the zoo, or walking them through the supermarket, and you looking at this, it's getting to that point, y'all. I'm telling you what they are mixing in them laboratories. We just showed you the ear they growing on, human ears they growing on mice backs.
But even regular TV, like you are seeing your hourly TV every day, they science say that changes your brain wave for a lower.
Hold it down, y'all. What you saying, see?
Watching too much TV every day, it sets your brain wave for a lower level, and you're subject to subjection, basically.
Right.
It makes you easy to subject.
So he's the prince of the airways, y'all. Y'all understand? Satan control the airways. Once he control that, and you fall into this, understand that you got to protect the arm. You can watch TV all day. You got the arm on because you're not watching TV for what you don't know about. We on fact-finding missions when we watch it. When we watch it, we can point to it. See right there? Look right there. How they hand on the Ouija board. See that? That's what I'm talking about in this movie. When you see Splight, oh, that's the fallen angel. So you're on fact-finding missions because your arm is on. You watching for a different reason because we have to watch as well as pray too, y'all. We have to know what time we in. Y'all, we got about 10 more minutes. Go ahead.
There's just one more thing out of the new Kobe Bryant commercial he got it on there. He got the triangle up there.
Right.
Then when he come on, they throwing the Baphomet up, and then
Right.
the people in the crowd, the other people in the crowd, they got their little triangle on with the eye up in the middle of
That's
at the
right.
top of the triangle. See, we see this and know what it is, but everybody else don't.
Don't know it. That's what Satan is using. He's not worried about the ones who can see it. He just don't want you to start praying.
Right.
It's going down. Ain't nothing we can do to stop y'all. This train is on the track with no brakes. And it's going. Now think about this. Jay-Z went to his new 40-40 club. They asked him, why should he be at home debating? They say, but there was the richest man in the world there. At the whatever they call when he rededicated 44. Warren Buffett. And guess what Warren Buffett doing?
See? Yeah.
Him and Jay-Z at Jay-Z's club. It's affiliated, they at a higher level. Jay-Z says Lucifer is God. This is why he's like this, because that's the all-seeing eye on the back of your dog, and put that left eye between. That's my left eye over there. Y'all know, but this is what they're doing. Y'all have to understand. I'm glad I don't know what it's doing. Go ahead, let's hit this. Then we finish that Jude down to 14. We're going to hit the 2 Peter and 1 Corinthians, y'all. We close out.
All right, this is verse 8.
Okay.
Verse 7. Even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them, in like manner giving themselves over to fornication.
What they giving themselves over to?
Fornication. And going after strange flesh.
After strange flesh. This is what Christ's saying. They went after strange flesh. Angel flesh. And we get that 1 Corinthians 15 going to talk about the different flesh. Go ahead now.
Are set forth for an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire. Likewise also these filthy dreamers. These filthy dreamers defile the flesh, despise dominion, and speak evil of dignity. Yet Michael the archangel, when contending with the devil,
Contending with who?
the devil,
Right.
he disputed about the body of Moses, durst not bring against him a railing accusation.
So Moses didn't, he didn't cuss Satan out. Didn't have to bring a railing accusation. You slew-footed, horse-footed, you thrown out of heaven. He just didn't even speak. He said, look, I come to get Moses. Now, we going to have a problem?
Right.
Again.
Ain't gonna no more.
Don't want no problem. Go ahead.
The Lord rebuke thee. But these speak evil of those things which they know not, but what they know naturally as brute beasts, and those things they corrupt themselves. Woe unto them, for they have gone in the way of Cain, and ran greedily after the error of Balaam, for reward, and perished in the gainsaying of Korah. These are spots in your feast of charity, when they feast with you, feeding themselves without fear. Clouds they are without water.
See, we just read in that Enoch, these evil spirits are like clouds moving. So we see how Enoch is linking up. I ain't seen nothing that's taking Enoch out of the way. You talking about because the giants said it was this many cubits? Well, people don't believe the ark was like that. People don't believe the flood covered the whole earth. Oh, that was just in that region. Come on now. Water covering up the whole world and even the highest mountain in 40 days. If it rained for 5 hours, a downpour, all these sewers cover,
I get called in.
swamp rats and that, you standing on the roof of your house in 2 to 3 hours of a downpour. Now try 40 days and 40 nights at a downpour non-stop, and ain't no channeling for sewer systems, different things back then. It said it was this many cubits above the highest mountain to make sure no birds, because soon they keep flapping, but they gonna get tired. They soon gonna get tired of this. That's why it says in the book of Jasher, 4th chapter, you was reading, it said it was 30 cubits above the highest mountains the water went. And a cubic is 18 inches or the tip of a man's fingertip to his elbow. That's a cubit. So 30 times 18 is what?
Big C.
Divided by 12. What?
Big C has the F.
540 divided by 12 is what? Don't ask me, y'all. Math was rough on me. That's what told me I should have stayed in that troubleshooting class, but I tried to get algebra. What?
4.6.
4.6.
45.
45 what? 0.6 feet above the highest mountain on earth.
I just got 45, but okay.
Well, 48. Because we're only doing about 12. A cubic is the tip of the fingertips of this, which is normally 12 to 18 inches. So you get the half on that. But 45 feet taller than the highest mountain. To make sure there's nowhere to stand, then water ain't there. And the water finally abated and went off the earth, and Noah and them came down off the mountain. So they'll say that don't exist. That's crazy. So we can't renege on Enoch because they don't believe something supernatural is happening. Hold on. You believe Adam was made from dirt, right? And breath of life breathed him. You believe his woman came from a rib out of him, out of an operation that did nobody see. You believe Christ walked on water. But it's too far for you to believe that monstrous beasts from watchers mixing with women and wickedness at a high level could not produce a beast like that, a monstrous beast. When we see all through Genesis and stuff that these Amalek and all these ones up in Cain doing that same wickedness that we were scared to say, and we were like grasshoppers in their sight. Now you looking at a grasshopper and you looking at you. They saying this is what they look like to us. We're like grasshoppers looking at them. And it's in the Bible, not in the book of Enoch. That's right. So what you don't believe, you better not believe it because it's breaking the law, not because it seems too far-fetched. Let's get some more. What we
Yeah,
get?
Jude 6. We talking about the fallen angels.
Verse 12. Go ahead. These
Y'all,
are
we're going to get two more, y'all. We're going to be out. Go ahead now.
we still talking about these fallen angels.
Right.
These are spots in your feast of charity.
Right?
When they feast with you, feeding themselves without fear.
Right?
Clouds they are without water, carried about of winds. Trees whose fruit wither.
See, trees who fruit wither. He getting back to the trees in the garden, Ezekiel 31. Trees who fruit wither. They ain't bring you no good. We know trees, a corrupt tree cannot bring forth good fruit. Matthew 7, Matthew 12. Go ahead.
Without fruit, twice dead, plucked up by the roots.
Twice dead.
Raging waves of the sea, foaming out their own shame. Wandering stars.
Wondering what?
Stars.
What did the book say that Job 38?
The morning stars.
The morning
Now
star.
check this out. Go check this out. Now this right here, the word wandering right here in Jude. Remember, we talking about fallen angels, right? 4107 in the Greek concordance. Wanderer. Planets. Check this out.
Absolutely.
From a rover planet, an erratic teacher wandering. Read that Acts 14 real quick. Hebrew.
Acts 14, verse 11. And when the people saw what Paul had done, they lifted up their voices, saying in the speech of Lycaonia, the gods have come down
Who
to
come
us.
down?
The gods have come down to us.
Right.
In the likeness of me. And they called Barnabas Jupiter.
Ain't them planets or gods?
Right. Go ahead.
Remember we talking about fallen angels. He just called them wandering stars.
And they everlasting in the chains of darkness. That's the universe.
Right. So look, we look up wandering and it means planet. That's where you get your planet from. Paul and Barnabas did a mighty work and they called them gods.
Right.
Right? So it's them planets or gods we speaking of.
Right.
God, there you go.
And Paul, that's what we read.
Yeah.
Yep. And Paul, Mercury, because he was the chief speaker. Then the priest of Jupiter, which were before their city, brought oxen and garlands onto the gates.
Now hold it right there. Now who is Zeus?
That's a god.
Right. But what I'm saying, he's the son of who? Jupiter.
Who
See,
you
so
calling planets?
Christ is not Zeus. You cannot, under no paperwork on planet Earth, link Christ and Zeus together. There's not a document on planet Earth that says these two are the same. That's hearsay. That's people talking. All you have to do is tell a chapter and verse or Wikipedia, show me where these two connect together. You will never find a connection between these two. Yah is the father of Christ.
Right.
Jesus is just the English translation. Jupiter is the father of Zeus. So y'all, that's what I'm saying. Make them prove. Make them show Jesus and Zeus is the same thing. That's hearsay. That ain't no truth. It ain't a document on earth that you can find that says that.
Right.
They say they sound alike.
Zeus and Thor is his son. Zeus is the high one, and Thor is his son.
Whoever Thor and Jupiter is
Right, Zeus is the top dog.
Is their offspring.
Thor was when Zeus married.
Thor and Jupiter, right? Zeus is the father.
Right, but those are not linked to the Messiah at all.
Yeah, it's
What you got? Come on, y'all got a couple more scripts. Y'all gotta get out. Go
Check this
ahead.
out.
That's another example about giants on earth because when Zeus, quote unquote, had sex with a mortal woman, created Thor, was the strongest man in the earth.
That's right.
They're retelling that story, that unrighteousness like it's righteousness.
Right.
Right, absolutely.
And then right here, 4208, me and Lil Chris been talking about this. The only time planet appear in the Bible is in Chronicles, right?
Right.
And you look up the word it come from in the Hebrew is Mazaloth, and it says, check this out, it says a constellation,
Right,
zodiacal sign as affecting the weather. Constellation.
right.
Constellations are groups of stars.
And what did
What are they
Enoch say
called?
about
Falling
the
stars,
angels.
wandering
Right.
stars.
And what did Enoch say about the angels? How they control, you know what I'm saying, the snow. The weather.
right.
So what did they teach the book of Enoch? Did they taught them about the zodiac and all that other stuff?
Absolutely.
The humans shouldn't have known that yet.
Yeah, but I'm saying that to say this: what science teaches us, right? Science teaches us it's the sun,
And
and then it's all planets rotating
The
around
question
the
always
sun.
come up. And the question
Know
always
that.
come up to me talking about, you know what I'm saying, if God made the world, then he made the other planets too, and there's a life on those planets.
Right.
Now, are there any planets?
According to what we
Ain't no
just
such
said,
word.
those are fallen
Exactly.
angels.
They fallen
Those are
angels.
they gods
Right.
that they calling on.
That
If
they
you go back,
never let-
if you
right.
go back and reread creation, all the lights in the heavens was made to service the earth.
That's
The
right.
sun, moon, and stars.
Right.
So what revolves around what? What
Right.
you see move every day. Sun come up in the east,
moon, right.
go that way to the west.
Right.
Moon come where it go, and it moves. Science teaches us that we are going around the sun. Though.
Now we stay still.
Absolutely.
It's made for us to question the creation of God. That's why when you get into the whole science movement, most of them atheists.
Yeah.
Right?
Right, absolutely.
Every picture you've seen of the universe has been an animation. Who you know went up there and took pictures of the planets?
Right, well, hey, next Sabbath, can we go back into Enoch and read it? Because
Yeah.
the Most High put all that forth. And the angels that want to do that. So let's just read that exact spot.
They run a circuit. If you get into Enoch, sun got a circuit. What is a circuit?
That's right.
Something that runs. But science tells us the sun sitting still. We going around it.
Right.
According to Enoch, stars got a circuit.
Right.
Moon got a circuit. And they all revolving around the earth. Not what they tell us.
That's what the
Now
science-
understand this, y'all. The Most High speaks in the natural, preternatural, and supernatural. When he's speaking of the natural, he's telling us about the planets, and they out there, and they have their course, and they do. But those planets are named after demonic
Fallen
beings,
gods.
fallen angels.
Exactly.
That's in the supernatural realm of it.
Yeah.
So even though you call them stars, there's a natural star,
Right.
like the sun and the moon, and then there's Christ, the light, the true light of the world. There's a natural light of the world, and then there's the light of the world. That's why I say in Matthew 24, Revelation 20, when I come back, I'm going to knock the sun and the moon out.
Ain't gonna need it, right?
You ain't gonna need it in New Jerusalem
he's the
because
real light.
there's no need of the sun and the moon. Therefore, the Lamb and the Almighty is the temple thereof. Ain't no need of artificial light in the kingdom.
That's how you know Christ was conceived.
That's why the sun and the moon was created on the fourth day. So what is that light in Genesis 1 and 1 and 1 and 2?
The most high,
They ain't not
Messiah.
absolute, the
You know what
light
I'm
of the
saying?
Even
firmament.
with Christ,
Let's get this, y'all. We gotta close out, y'all. We got these two last scripts, y'all.
And again, that's why the writer of 1 Timothy, which is Paul, told us here in 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 20. O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, avoiding profane and vain babblings and opposition of science,
Of what?
falsely
acute.
opposition of science, falsely so called.
See, it's falsely so-called science. That's philosophy. That's we ain't gonna say it's God.
We go off of theory.
We gonna go off a theory. Maybe this happened like they talk about the water splitting in Egypt. No, it wasn't miraculous. Or the firstborn being dead. Well, okay, let's see how the firstborn being dead. They say the storms came in and wiped everything out. So the firstborn would naturally eat first as the beast. So that's why all the firstborn dead. Well, for that to work, that means every firstborn had to eat at that exact time. Every dog, every beast, every cattle, every frog, every fly of the firstborn died.
at the same time.
All of them had to be eaten at the same time for that to work. But what they're trying to do is like the burning bush. They say, oh, this one bush that's made out of olive oil and something. It won't consume when burned. Instead of just going with Moses spoke to the Lord out of the burning bush that was not consumed. Like the lake of fire, your body won't consume like the Jehovah's Witness say, you just burn up and that'll be it. But what the hell I'm going to do right for if that's all it is for eternal damnation?
Right.
You just burn up. No, it says the worm dieth not.
Right.
So that worm keeps chewing. And also shout out to Sister Marla, her grandmother passed. Y'all so send one up for 2 Peter 2. And this is just hitting on the angels. And when it talks about Sodom and Gomorrah, when them angels came to Lot's house, what them wicked men say that's been chasing bad flesh all the time? What they say? Send them men out
Send
here.
them men out
So
here.
we know how angels can transform into men. And Lot say, don't do so wickedly. I got 2 daughters.
Ain't never been touched.
Virgins. Tender.
Like,
Take them. Now you think about this, that Lot would offer up his daughter than the righteous angels to have them men do that. Them men say, we don't want them skanks.
You want them.
Send them men out here or you
They know them.
That's why that deal was burnt.
That's why I was burning.
Fire.
Let's get it.
Chapter, 2 Peter chapter 2,
Right.
verse 1.
Right. Hold on, let everybody get that right quick. Everybody at 2 Peter, y'all. We got 2 more, y'all. We out.
Everybody
I
back?
gotta close the psalm.
139.
39.
Bye-bye.
All right, 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 1. But there was false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privately shall bring in damnable heresy, even denying the Lord that brought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction. And many shall follow their pernicious ways. Pernicious ways. Thank you. By reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of.
Truth, evil spoken of. Man, the hell with that stuff, man. I don't want to hear that junk off no damn Bible. Let's get down to business. You coming to the club or what? It's stinking leg to be had. Let's keep moving.
And through covetousness shall they with vain words.
With what?
Vain words.
Yeah.
Make merchandise of you.
Vain words make merchandise of you. Vain means worthless or nothing. With nothing worth words make merchandise out of you. Prosperity teaching. Vain words. The Lord will rain blessings on you that you won't be able to count. Yeah, he will. Okay. Let's read some more. You know about that prosperity teaching, huh? Yeah.
Whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not, and their damnation slumbereth not. Verse 4. For if God spared not the angels
If he did what?
For if God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell and delivered them into chains of darkness.
Hold it right there. Satan and his angels ain't under chains of darkness. This has to be talking about the watch. So do we get back to, was those sons of men or Adam's sons, or were they the sons of God, which is supernatural or preternatural beings? Because Adam was called the son of God, which was in a preternatural state, in flesh like ours, but with a supernatural, a partly supernatural, not completely like angels, but in between natural and supernatural. Without sin. Go ahead.
Let me start forward again. For if God spared not the angels that sinned,
right,
but cast them down to hell and delivered them into chains of darkness,
right,
to be reserved unto judgment, and spared not the old world.
What did he spare not?
The old world.
Right.
But saved Noah, the 8th person, a preacher of righteousness, bringeth in the flood upon the world of the ungodly, and turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemning them with an overthrow, making them an example unto those that after should live ungodly.
Go ahead.
And deliver just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of wicked.
Lot vexed with the filthy conversation. I'm talking about Lot living in a heart that was 3 times worse than California, Los Angeles. Hearing everywhere he look around, he's watching wickedness everywhere, but he was right there and maintained his rights.
A just man.
Of the world. You're in the world, but not of the world. Yo, we gonna be in wickedness is surrounding us constantly. But if you got the arm of Christ on, if you got the arm of the Most High on, that wickedness is just around you. You just walk through it. They just step back like this.
Water off a duck's back.
Water off your back. You walking through bowl. Then I say, what? All right. But if you open yourself up and allow them to become the driver, you do.
You do.
You do. Go ahead, bro.
And the way that you do that is taking your eyes off the pride.
Absolutely.
Once you come into the truth, if you stop reading, you stop studying, you stop praying, you're in trouble.
You're in trouble.
Bottom line.
This is a 70-year course, right? It's called the Book of Life, Bible. Basic instructions before leaving earth. It's a 70-year course. Life of man is 70, right? So what you rushing for?
Yeah.
What you rushing to complete the course? Graduation day is when Christ come back.
Right.
How you gonna graduate before he come back?
Right. Your first year don't start when
And
you're
then
born.
man give you graduation. Come on, you graduated theology. You learned how to pronounce God. Say it with me. God.
Why they gotta draw it out like that?
You don't need a whale, man. You don't need you a
Hold on,
whale.
y'all, hold on. All right, when I say like so beautiful and whatnot, that's just like the same thing we got us thinking, like in our eyes say. You play on your mind and make you only look out your own two eyes.
Right.
Everything that looks good, 9 times out of 10, it ain't good for you.
Right.
That's when you read in Romans chapter 7 when Paul talk about, he say, oh wretched man that I am. He say, keep with the law of my mind, I keep the law of God. With the inward man, but with the flesh, some of the law of sin, like you can't get around it. But Satan is battling using his flesh to help you think like it's all corner while there ain't no Bible. Same way with Christ using the spiritual man, the inward man,
That's
to
right.
help fight that way.
Well,
Go ahead, bro. Let's get these last two. Where we at? You finished that? Go ahead.
I'm singing up in
Go ahead.
Verse 8, for that righteous man dwelling among them, and seeing and hearing, vex his righteous soul from day to day.
Every day he hearing something. He just hearing it going down.
Verse 8 again. For that righteous man dwelling among them, and seeing and hearing, vex his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds. The Lord knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptation,
Right.
and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished.
Right there, that's good. Hit that. These last two, y'all. 1 Corinthians 11 and 5. You want to just see the why Most High say women have to have power on their heads to keep them from the angels. And 1 Corinthians 15:51, y'all, we close out. This just going to mention about the different flesh that they're mixing right now in these laboratories. Y'all, they're trying to mix our flesh with animal flesh or anything they can do supernatural. They put pig bodies, all pig parts in your human body. They don't go together. No. That's why Ecclesiastes tells us the spirit of a man goeth upward, the spirit of a beast goeth downward.
Right.
All dogs don't go to heaven. None of them do. Let's get some more of that.
And y'all also check out the developments of implementing the microchip. They got something called Masonic chip,
Right.
child identification, whatever. They collecting all our children's DNA, cotton swabs, a blood test in Missouri is called MoChip, MoChip.com. They in Massachusetts too, it's called MyChip.com. And they got like 20 something, like 50 different states or whatever. But they collecting all the DNA of all our children. You feel me? They registering children under the pretext that if they get snatched, we can find them. We got their DNA.
Right.
They taking fingerprints, eye scans, they swabbing cotton swabs, and they taking DNA samples.
Stealing all your DNA. Let's get these last two, y'all. We got to roll on, y'all.
And the Masons are behind it.
But they're also getting patents on your DNA. So like gene therapy. Right.
Hold it down, y'all.
You can't get it cheap. You have to pay them because you can't even get nobody else to work on some kind of gene therapy. They own your DNA sequence.
That's right. Come on, y'all. Let's get these last two, y'all. What you got, Isaiah?
On what y'all was just talking about that DNA thing, also with the penal system right now, and it's been like for the last 10 to 12 years exactly, but they cotton swab your mouth. So they got a genetic code, they got your DNA with you, and they got it in the penal system. So that that O.J. Simpson stuff, your DNA wasn't there, you wasn't there. No, you officially there. So they can catch you up at any point in time. If you ever go through the penal system, they got you flat out. If we say you committed a murder in Germany, I don't care what you say you was, your DNA is officially here. So we can lock you up at any point in time.
That's right.
Once they got you, they got you. Yeah.
Let's hit these last two, y'all. 1 Corinthians 11 and 5. What you got, Amos?
That MoChip we talking about, it's already here.
Yeah,
Because
sure.
they sent, I'm a resident of Winston Terrace, and they
Hold it
sent,
down, y'all. You gotta say it again, Amo.
I'm a resident of Winston Terrace, and they sent all their residents that
That
Mo
Mo
chip.
chip.
And some of the residents, they had already volunteered for that program, but me and my wife was overlooking that, and they said exactly what you just
Yeah,
said.
they got over 100,000 children in Missouri already identified. Logged into their thing. In Massachusetts, they got over 400,000. You can get on there and find all the Masonic chip organizations. It's funded by the Grand Masonic Lodge. They show you in every state where they at. And it's under the pretext of get your children registered in our database. So just in case they get snatched, we can find them.
Right, that's what they use.
prepping us for that, man. Y'all looked it up, MasonicChip.com. Mo Chip in Missouri, My Chip in Massachusetts, and it's all over. It's all over.
Come on, y'all, get these last two. Last two.
Let's get it.
1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 7. And then we're going to read the 1 Corinthians 15:1, just talk about the different flesh. So y'all understand what's happening right at the last hour at the 7th trump. Y'all, this wickedness is taking place. Y'all ain't seen nothing. They got pickle jars full of experiments. Let's get some more.
1 Corinthians, chapter 11, verse 7. No, verse 6. For if the woman be not covered, let her also be shorn. For it be a shame for a woman to be shorn or shaven. Let her be covered. For a man indeed ought not to cover his head,
Right?
for as much as he is the image and glory of God. But the woman is the glory of the man.
Right?
For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man.
Right?
Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man. For this cause ought the woman to have power on her head.
Or a covering. A husband, or if she don't have one, Christ has to be her covering. Spiritual and physical. Go ahead, bro.
Because of the angel.
Because of who?
The angel.
Go ahead.
Verse 11. Nevertheless, neither is the man without the woman, neither the woman without the man in the Lord.
So right here, Christ moving to a next level. He said, neither one of y'all can't do without the other. If one go out of order or extinct, it ain't gonna be no reproduction either way. So both are just as valuable. Don't think it's just an order of things. What mean everybody has to play their order. Because men is above women, that's the order. That don't mean men are greater than women by no means. Because can't no man have no baby. I know what y'all seen on the Cosby Show when he was playing, he was pregnant. But that ain't happening. See how they can
Well, basically, as Paul stipulated, this shall explain
Get
it.
that 1 Corinthians 15.
Galatians chapter 3, verse 28 goes with that last verse I just read. There is neither Jew nor Greek. There is neither bond nor free. There is neither male nor female. For ye are all one in Christ Jesus.
Meaning what y'all servants, if ye in Christ.
Last one, y'all, 1 Corinthians 15:33. Y'all read all of that.
Galatians chapter 3, verse 28, sir, with the Most High permission.
Go ahead, y'all. Go ahead.
1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 33.
Right?
Everybody there? Be not deceived.
Be not what?
Deceived. Evil communications corrupt good manners.
Evil communications corrupt good manners. And evil corrupt communication, if you say a curse word, understand, but when you understand the true nature curse word, but we're talking about evil communication. What Lot was hearing every day. Mason's secret. Sing, ride to go. Baha bone. Let's do this. Handshake. All that evil communication. That's what it's talking about. It ain't just saying shout a few curse words. You get mad. But curse words are what they pronounce. Every word. Bastard is a curse word because it means a child born of a man and a woman that's not married. That probably encompasses a lot of us in here right now. But Christ said through him we can become sons of God again. Back with a natural dad, and so to speak, a supernatural dad. So we have to understand that. Go ahead.
Verse 34.
awake to righteousness, and sin not. For some have not knowledge of God. I speak this to your shame.
Right.
But some man will say, how are the dead raised up? And with what body do they come?
So this a killer just ghost his spirit. Paul is asking, he said, so what kind of body coming up out of the grave? Christ showed you. He told Doubting Thomas, check my hand. Check the side where they hit me up with that sword. And he was feeling, he like, show it, show it, show it. So he showed him, he said, this is the way you come back in the body. When he called Lazarus out, did Lazarus come out of the spirit or was it Lazarus bound up? And then they ate dinner, didn't they? Right. And the Jews come around and see.
They said he's stinking. Right, he was stinking. They said he's stinking.
So we have to understand that. Let's move
So
on to
Lazarus
more.
came up out of the ground and changed.
Well, in the grave, still wrapped up.
Okay.
You know, and he said unloose it.
So let's say if somebody gets shot in their head or whatever, and they
Right.
dead, now they rising for the grain, they still got a bullet wound inside their head?
No, not in that gory sense, only if they're heading for destruction.
Oh, okay.
That's why you see all the Dawn of the Dead movies. That's
Right.
what they headed for, destruction.
Nothing to that has to do with Abraham's bosom.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? With those who died that way, that's how they gonna come back.
See, if you die righteously, you come back in form. Christ wasn't beat up like he was. They didn't say he was beat to hell. When they killed him, he was beat up. His face was marred more than any man. Them left hooks and tearing his beard off in public and kicking him in the rear end. He was beat up bad.
Right.
But when he came back, he had the wounds to prove it was him. He just showed him his war wound. But your body go back to however old you was at that age. But the only difference in the skin is like a newborn baby skin. It ain't wrinkled.
So he didn't
ain't got
actually
no
have a
old
hole in
marks on it.
his, he didn't actually have a hole in his hand.
He had a
like
hole
scattered.
in his hand,
Oh.
but it was not the wounds that he had on the cross. It was not his death wound.
He looked like
or
a
his
healed
victory
wound.
It was like, right, he just said, check right here.
It was
Look,
a healed scar.
the marks was there for a reason.
Okay.
And understand why they were.
Okay.
Because he had not ascended to the Father yet.
Right.
To put on his full glory. That's why he told Mary, y'all can't touch me yet. It's the same way when we come out of Egypt and he told, don't let no man come and touch the mount yet. They have to be washed clean. If they come and touch, they're going to die immediately. That's why he couldn't let them, because he's taken over that same tabernacle under the order of Aaron, but under Melchizedek. You can't come up to the mount and touch it yet. Not in your filthiness. That's why he told none of the sons of Aaron to come to the mount if they had been with a woman the night before.
Right.
Because you clean unto that next evening.
next
They can't come up here to the mount. They can't touch it with that. We don't know what they was doing.
Right.
You know, thinking about swinging off chandeliers, whatever they were doing back in the day. You can't come up here to the mountain.
Right.
Same way David ate the showbread. They told him, you can eat the priest showbread long as your men ain't been with women. He said, I've been with them for 3 days. I know what they're going on. It ain't been none of that.
That's what Creflo tries to imitate.
Absolutely. Come on, I'm anointed, don't touch it. But let's finish that up, bro.
Do he say that?
Yeah, y'all ain't never seen, he said, don't touch me, I'm in my anointing.
He got
Y'all
one time, man, where he talking about it was left up to him. He kept that same
know what he say, all done tithers ought to be shot too.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get some more of this, y'all. Let's finish this up, y'all.
All right, verse 36 is at 1 Corinthians chapter 15.
Go ahead.
Thou fool, that which thou sowest is not quickened, except it die.
See, thou sow is not quickened. Quickened means to be pushed into the spirit world. If you sowing still fleshly doctrine, you still under earn. That's flesh. We under the order of Melchizedek. Psalm 110 in Hebrews 7 chapter.
Right.
This is an everlasting priesthood because we're going to be priests from now on. Not 30 years like under Aaron, then you roll out and another priest come in.
Yes, a perfect-
Melchizedek, we priests till it go.
That's a perfect example of us coming into the truth. We done had this Bible all our lives and never looked at it. And when you come into the truth, you come into the supernatural realm because you never thought that this was you.
Right.
Never thought that this was you.
Go ahead, read on down, y'all. We got to get out of here.
Verse 37. And that which thou sowest not that body that shall be, but bear grain. It may chance of wheat or of some other grain. But God giveth it a body as it hath pleased him,
Right.
and to every seed his own body.
Read that again.
But God giveth it a body as it hath pleased him, and to every seed his own body.
See, it kills that resurrection, or that reincarnation talk. I'm sorry, not resurrection. Resurrection is what Christ said, I'm the life and the resurrection, not the reincarnation. Reincarnation means you can come back into anything. A German shepherd, Man, that's little Willie over there. Look how dude bark. Willie used to bark like that right after 40 hours. The same thing. That dog is Willie. I'm telling you, let's get it. No.
Verse 39. All flesh is not the same
Oh,
flesh.
what?
All flesh is not the same flesh. But there is one kind of flesh of men, another flesh of beasts, another of fishes, and another of birds. There are also celestial bodies and bodies terrestrial, but the glory of the celestial is one, and the glory of the terrestrial is another. There is one glory of the sun, and another glory of the moon, and another glory of the stars, for one star different from another star in glory. So also is the resurrection of the dead.
Also the resurrection of the what?
The dead.
Okay.
It is sown in corruption.
Right.
It is raised in incorruption.
It has to be raised in incorruption. That's why I'm saying it's like a child before the age of accountability. There ain't no, the age of accountability ain't 12 or 13. The age of accountability is when a woman or a boy child, or a female child, a male child come into where they have to start doing the law. And that's when they can emit seed, or a woman comes into her flower, because they're able to give life now. Now a boy has to wash himself and a woman has to wash herself.